Hello, Jenny. It's Genisis, Lewison here, as always. And what are we doing today? It's a timeline. If you fuckers don't know, I posted it on Facebook. Go look it up. And there you go. Yeah, it's a timeline. So timeline we're doing today is for the lovely dog we all know and care about. If you were born in the 80s or 90s. If you were born in the 2000s, then you probably don't know who the fuck this is. Benji. Alright, so here's the paper, as I do always, of the timeline, the actual timeline. So the series starts specifically in the film Benji, which is in 1975. It was directed by the original creator of Benji, Joe Camp. I actually do own this movie, but I don't watch it anymore because it broke my fucking VCR. Long story. But, basically it's about the little stray dog named Benji. It actually was played by the original Benjia? No, my bad. It was played by Higgens. Higgens was the dog. And Higgens was a good dog. Should probably be the thumbnail for this video. But yeah, so first we'll say, then there was the sequel in 1977, which was called For the Love of Benji. As far as I know, it did follow the first film somewhat. Though it's no longer set in Texas, it's set in Athens, Greece. But I guess they were still coming along. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Usually how I do these timelines. All up here. Lol. But yeah, so they go to Greece and For the Love of Benji. Also have past it, Higgens is no longer in. Higgins died before The Love of Benji came out. Yeah, it was 1974 to 1975. But yeah, the dog died, and she was replaced by Higgins' daughter, Benjean. So yeah. The next film in the timeline was Benji's Very Own Christmas Story. That came out in 1978. Sorry. And it starred Benjean again, the daughter of Higgins, still playing Benji. And this one's a little bit more confusing since, you know, the other two were somewhat set in reality, and this new one is not set in reality, like, at all. But, sorry, sleep deprivation, working on these videos for you. But, yeah, Benji's Very Own Christmas Story came next. Kind of broke the mold since Santa appears in it, but whatever. Then there was Oh Heavenly Dog, which came out in 1980. This one's a little bit different. Benjean is the same dog in it, meaning the original Higgins, the original Benji dog, only starred in one Benji film. So far, her daughter, Benjean, has been in about 3. Remember that. But Oh Heavenly Dog is a little bit different, as it basically was a Chevy Chase comedy movie. But the reason Benji was in it, you'll guess, because the director, Joe Camp, who directed Oh Heavenly Dog, put Benji into it. I don't know why. But, you know, he did kind of work it into the plot by having Benji be the dog that's now in London for some reason. I don't really know why. Being the soul that Chevy Chase was put into. You know what? Just see the movie. It's a lot better explained there. So, yeah. The next was in 1987. Yes, 7 years later. We have Benji the Hunted. Benji the Hunted is completely fucking confused. So Benji now lives in Oregon. So basically, she's moved from her original home in Texas to the second film where she was in Greece, to the Christmas movie where she's in, I think it was New York City, to Oh Heavenly Dog where she's in London, and to Benji the Hunted, where she's now in Oregon. Holy fuck! What? Chronologically, it makes very little sense, but if we use the right dates, then it does somewhat make sense. Regardless, back onto it. So yeah, now she's in there, and she ends up see a cougar dies, and then she gets the cougar's babies, and yeah, it's one of those stories. But again, it's still Benji, the daughter of Higgens, the original Benji dog, making her the second Benji dog that now appear in 4 Benji movies. The next Benji movie was a Benji movie called Benji of the Leash. Sorry. So actually, this one's a little bit unique because now this one came out in 2004. Now we have a pretty large gap between 1987 and 2004. Again, not like it's not. I don't think it's 20. Just 1 minute. Let's do some little math here. All right, 17 years. So it's not exactly 20 years. It's not 2 decades, but it's a decade. It's almost a decade. It's a decade. It's definitely past a decade and a half. So we're talking past 15 years. Obviously, Benji is long dead, sadly. And Higgens, well, she was already dead. So thus, this was the end of Benji's with the Hunted, which. But now Benji of the Leash is a little bit of a unique one, because chronologically we can't really place this one in a certain area. Let me explain why. So the film is basically the makers of the past Benji films, Benji for the Love of Benji, Benji's Very Own Christmas, Oh Heavenly Dog, and Benji the Hunted. And yes, Joe Camp still directs and writes this one, the original writer and director of all these other films. This one is actually out of universe, taking place in our own. It's supposedly that all the other Benji films are films. In this one, they're actually movies. So we can't be in continuity anymore. It's not in continuity anymore. It's completely outside continuity. So now that it's outside continuity, now Benji of the Leash is its own film. So it's actually what's unique is the person who plays the dog is Moochie. Moochie the dog plays Benji in this one. Moochie has no connection to Ben. I don't think she has any connection to Benji or Higgens, meaning she is a completely new dog playing in a Benji film, which so far that puts it even with Higgens on 1-to-1. So yeah, that's the timeline. And also chronologically, it does also take place in 2005. Same as all these other films chronologically take place in 74, 77, 78, 80, and 87. That's the Benji timeline. I'll probably, at the end of this video, I'll put a written down version of it. I don't know. And yeah, about that. Peace out, Jennies.